The darkness continues.
Open your mind.
Dark exodus. The protester. Dark exodus.
Open your mind.
You know.
Yeah, X.
You know.
Dark exodus.
You understand?
Yeah, X.
You know.
You understand? Open your mind.
Dark exodus. Yeah, X.
You know.
You understand?
Yeah, X.
Open your mind.
Dark Exodus. Dark Exodus. Dark Exodus. Dark Exodus.
And we are back. Peace, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the Popular Thought Series right here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your black asses are here. Tonight, special stream tonight. I've been calling it the Old Negro Podcast, but the title of it is Being the Old Negro. You know, this is DXL, Dark Exodus Live, and we're going to be talking about some old Negro stuff tonight. I have a few old Negroes coming through, you know, old Negroes like myself will be coming through tonight. So it should be good. You might hear some good stuff tonight, but before we get started, you know, I always got to start the show off with let you good folks know. I appreciate your likes, shares, your subscriptions, your views, and your hard-earned pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and 50-cent pieces, because I realize you do not have to do it. You don't have to spend your damn time watching these videos. You don't have to like them. You don't have to share them. And you definitely don't have to drop your hard-earned coins on this platform. But you good folks, you choose to do so, man. You choose to do so. And I want you to know, man, I don't take you lightly. I never have, and I never will. All right? I appreciate all that you do, man. All you good folks that hang out there, and the good folks who hang out in here. You know? This channel's growing, man. I look at my subscriber count from time to time, man, and it's rising. It's weird. I'm not used to all this attention, but I appreciate it, man, and I appreciate all you good folks, man, for everything you do, man. I appreciate more than anything else, more than the likes, the shares, the views, and the subs, man. I just appreciate, man, your attendance. Your participation. I appreciate that more than anything else, man. You know, because when it all comes down to it, that's what it's really about, man. It's not really about the money. It's not really about the views and the shares and the likes and all that kind of shit. When it all comes down to it, man, just the fact that y'all show up, man, you know, and support me, man, that's more important than all the other shit. I'm just saying. And I don't say it to stroke you, to kiss your black butts, because by now you know X don't kiss no butts. I say it because I really mean it. And I want y'all to know, man, that I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm appreciative, man. And I'm thankful to all you good folks. All right? All right. Let's get at it. But before we get started, I'm going to let y'all know, because this show here is actually part one of a T.P.O.T. doubleheader.
Open your mind. Peace, folks. Once again, on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page, we are back with another hard-hitting doubleheader.
Yeah, because right after this, we're going to have a late night open debate at 11:15. The brother, the hood conservative, will be in the house, and he's taking on all competitors. He said he's taking on anybody who wants it. So he'll be here at 11:15, and the subject will be what has caused more harm, feminism or racism. And the hood conservative said he's willing to take on all of y'all. He want all the smoke. So if you got a problem with his talking points, 11:15, he'll be here, and he's taking on anybody. So make sure you're here. Even if you leave from this show, make sure you come to that one. God Damn it. But anyway, yeah, because what we're going to do this stream here, and then we're going to go, I'm going to stretch my legs for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to go right on into the next show. I'm going to split them up. I don't like doing I'm going to go ahead, split them up. And, yeah, I think it's going to be fire. And like I said, the Brotherhood Conservative says he's taking on anybody. Let me repeat that. Anybody. So make sure you're here. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and split up. Oh, I appreciate that super chat, Lady Nicer, the $2 super chat. Appreciate that. But yeah, for the next 2 hours though, we're gonna be talking about old nigga shit. Those 2 words that you hear all the time. Oh, you old niggas. You old niggas. You old niggas don't know shit. We know something. We knew how to get to this fucking age. Score 1 in the old niggas box. We knew something. We knew how to get this age. What I think it is, and I know y'all have heard me say this a lot. When these younger guys are talking that old nigga shit, oh, you old ass niggas, you old ass niggas. When they're talking that old nigga shit, what they're really saying is the age that they are, they think they're smarter than you were when you were their age. And likewise, they think that when they get your age, they're going to be smarter than you. I think that's what it is, right? That's what it is. But what a lot of these dudes don't understand is a lot of us, quote unquote, old niggas, we started our lives when we was really young. I mean, I can speak for myself. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 17, not when I was 27, not when I was 37. I moved out of my parents' house when I was 17, about 3 months after my 17th birthday. I moved out of my parents' house, and I was still in my senior year of high school at the time because I wasn't set to graduate till June of that year. My birthday is in December. I moved out of my parents' house in March. So I was living on my own, had my own apartment, still going to high school with my own car at 17. Yeah. And the reason why I was able to do that is because of the man who was raising me. He taught me how to work. All right. He taught me how to save. He taught me how to think past today, think past tomorrow, think past next week. When I was 15 years old, I was prepared to move out. I just didn't have the money to do it. By the time I was 17, I did. So I moved out. When I was living with my parents, I was giving my mom $60 a week rent when I was living with them. I found a basement apartment that was $200 a month. And the apartment wasn't, nothing to brag about. I mean, that apartment, you could probably take it and fit it, in the room that I'm in now. That whole apartment, it could literally fit in this room. Yeah, it could fit in this room. But, everything was included, lights, water, gas, all that shit was included. So I was giving my mom $240 a month anyway. So I said, shit, I can afford this. And I moved out about 3 months after my 17th birthday. But the reason why I moved is, like I said, because of my old man. My old man, I mean, he taught me how to be on my own. He taught me how to survive and all that kind of shit. So, I mean, listening to him is what made it easier for me to move out and be on my own at 17. Just falling back on the shit that he taught me. Because my pops, he didn't really want me to leave. Because when I got my apartment, he was one of the first people to show up there. I don't even know how the hell he knew where the hell I lived at because I hadn't told him. But he showed up at my apartment and he was like, well, I think your mama wants you to come back home, boy. But I know what he was really saying. He wanted me to fucking come back home too. But I had got that taste. I got that taste of being on my own. living by my own rules, doing my own shit. So that was it. All right. There was no turning back. Now, I tell that little story for this reason. A lot of guys who always talk that old nigga shit, I'm going to be honest with you. More than likely, when we were these guys' age, a lot of them, we probably had a lot more going on in our life when we were their age. Especially when you talk about the guys like in their 20s and shit, their early 20s and shit. A lot of these motherfuckers were still living with their mamas, man. A lot of them was. They were still living with their mama, right? Which I definitely wasn't, you know. By the time I was 25, man, I had kids, had a house, had all kinds. You know, my life had started because I had been on my own for like 7 years. By that point, you know, 25, I was well within the ranks of being on my own. And a lot of these younger guys, you know, they look at an older guy, right? And they look at us like, oh, you old Negroes don't know anything. You old Negroes don't know nothing. But guess what, man? Guys that I know, especially the guys I'm familiar with on YouTube, these guys may be in their 50s and shit like me, but these guys have got it together. These guys own 2 and 3 houses. These guys own 2, 3, 4, 5 automobiles. These guys got investments. These guys own stock. These guys own, you know, all kinds of shit. All right. Hey, the general, check your email, brother. I put the link in your email, brother. I see the general in the house. Yeah, I mean, guys our age, man, because if you're not our age and you don't have these things, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I mean, if you're my age and you don't have a house, you don't have a car, you don't have no money in the bank, you don't have a few, you know, investments here and there, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. If you're my age and you don't got none of that shit, you don't have none of that, you don't own a car, you don't own house, no car, no money in the fucking bank, you fucking work at fucking Kmart. Like, at my age, that's not what your life's supposed to be, man. I mean, I'm sorry. And you're looking at somebody who's a straight fuck up. All right. I did a lot of fucked up shit when I was a young guy, you know, especially once I moved out of my parents' house. That's when I got exposed to the hood and all that kind of shit, you know, because I was on my own. So, you know, I'm doing all kinds of shit, you know, hanging out with dudes from the hood, you know, chasing after chicks from the hood, you know, doing all that kind of shit, finding myself in these precarious situations and all that kind of nonsense. I mean, that's why I say, I mean, once you get my age, if you don't have anything established, because at this age, this ain't the time that you should be establishing yourself. If you're my age, you're supposed to already have something established. If it's, you should be well into your career or about to retire from it. You should at least own some type of business. You should have your own house that you own. You should have vehicles. You'd have, you know, at my age, you need to already be established in something, you know. You ain't supposed to be my age saying, well, I got to get my shit together. Nah, motherfucker, you 50 and you saying that? Brother Taylor. Okay, Brother Taylor. You know, you ain't supposed to be my age talking about getting your shit together. Nah. Shit, motherfucker, you my age and you talking that shit, it's over. I'm sorry. You my age and you don't know where the next dollar coming from. You my age and you talking about buying a car. Oh man, I gotta get me a car. Yeah, man. You my goddamn age, boy. All that shit's supposed to be, all those boxes supposed to be checked. And I don't just say it because they're checked for me. I say it because when I was younger, I had no idea. You know, I wasn't thinking about when I was going to be 50 and shit like that. You know, especially when I was in my early 20s. I didn't start thinking like this till I got to be like almost 30, you know, and I had kids and the kids was growing up and all that kind of shit. I mean, that's when I start thinking a little more progressively. That's when I start thinking, well, you know, one day, brother, you're going to be 40, then you're going to be 50, then you're going to be 60. So that's when I really start thinking, about preparing for my life. I started buying stocks and shit when I was like, I don't know, 29, you know, and some of those stocks I still have today. And I'm glad I never unloaded them because, if shit goes bad, if I lose everything else, which I probably won't, but if I do, I still have those stocks to hold on to. When I was buying them though, I was thinking, yeah, if I make it to be grandfather's age, I'm just gonna give it to my grandbabies. And that's still the plan now, because I mean, I've had those stocks, man, for 23 fucking years, man. Yeah, 23 years I've held on to those stocks. I did unload some a few months back. I unloaded some stocks, bought some Bitcoin, fucking lost $1,000 on that shit. But that's not the Bitcoin shit isn't for like my grandkids. That's my shit. That's me fucking around trying to do something. And I lost like $1,000 on that shit, man. I mean, I lost like $1,000 on that Bitcoin shit, especially when it started to dip. I think it's on an upswing now. I don't pay it a lot of attention. I watch my stock portfolio. I don't really pay too much to the Bitcoin shit because, like I said, my stock shit is for my grandbabies. That the Bitcoin shit, that's for me. That's just me fucking around trying to make a few extra dollars. I think I'm gonna unload all that shit at some point. Once it go back up, and I feel like I can at least make a 30% profit off it, 20 to 30% profit off it. I'll probably just get rid of all of it. That's probably what I'm gonna do. But I started buying stocks when I was like 28, 29. And like I said, okay, I'm a have these for my grandkids, if I ever have any. Well, lo and behold, here I am with grandkids. So they will be getting them. They'll be getting the stocks and whatever else, the house, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's kind of why I do what I do, man. And I talk about this all the time. What I do, I don't do just for me. When you get this age, you don't do it just for you, you know, because it's just me, my wife, and my dog. It doesn't take a lot to take care of us, man. My fucking dog, he probably eats more than my wife does. He's that motherfucker eats more than he eats more than my woman does. So, it's me, my wife, and my dog. Those are the only living things that I'm responsible for, and my grandson, because he's here now, and my nephew will be here. So, it doesn't take a lot to take care of us. It really doesn't. It doesn't take a lot to take care of us. So I'm planning on leaving the bulk of my shit to my grandchildren. That's where the bulk of my stuff is gonna go. I do have a life insurance policy. It's actually a pretty lucrative life insurance policy. If I, die or whatever, die in my sleep or whatever happens, my life insurance policy is $150,000. If I get killed during a work accident, like say I'm out there and I get skewered by a fucking forklift or a bulldozer bucket drops on me and cuts my damn head off, then it's worth $500,000. So depending on how I die, that's what dictates how much money goes to the family. So they're probably hoping that, I don't die by natural cause. They probably hope I get ran over by a damn bulldozer or some shit. Because see, if that happens, they get more money. If that happens, if I get ran over by a bulldozer or fucking impaled by a fucking forklift or some shit like that, they get way more money. So, they're probably like, God, boy, Pop die. I hope he don't die naturally. I hope he fall off a building or something, or God damn it, get ran over by a goddamn backhoe or some shit. Get crushed by a payloader. Yeah, they don't want me to die naturally. They want a fucking piece of heavy equipment to run my ass over. But yeah, I mean, that's how it's set up. And it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that, folks. Full disclosure. I didn't buy my first life insurance policy, My wife and myself didn't do that, man, till I was like, I think I was 42, 43. I think. Yeah, like 42, 43 when I bought the first one, because I wasn't even really thinking on those terms. Us black folks, we think we're never gonna get old. We think our kids never gonna grow up. We're just crazy like that. We live in this suspension of disbelief a lot of times. That's why a lot of us ain't prepared for shit. But yeah, I think I was like 40, yeah, 42, 43 when we, start purchasing our first life insurance. Luckily, our ass didn't die during that time, because we'd have left everybody with a bunch of debt and bills and shit, you know. But once we got to that age, yeah, brother Ricardo, Peter Pan syndrome. Yeah, I had this shit too. I confess, I confess. But now, I've had the life insurance policy so long that if I wanted to, I probably could borrow money against it, because I've had it like, I'm trying to think. I think I was 41. I was like 41. So I've had it quite a while. I've had it quite a while. Yeah, I've had it for almost 12 years. So if we wanted to, we could freaking borrow money against it if we needed to. I mean, but fortunately, I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I run my own business. Everybody knows that. It's no secret. Been running it for 7 years. The business does pretty good. So we gonna be all right, no matter what. Even though I'm taking on, another kid, because like I said, my grandson is already here, and my nephew will be here shit in another week. Yeah, he'll be here in less than a week. So I'm taking on two kids, but they're not little kids, they're 12. So it's not like I'm taking on infants, and they're good kids, So plus they my people, they my family, and they need a man to raise them and groom them and rear them, and hey, I'm the guy. I believe in practicing what I preach, and I often say that when you have these kids who do not have a man in their life, it's up to the men in their family to pick up the slack. I don't think it's up to people outside and mentors and all these other motherfuckers and people you see on TV. No, the motherfuckers in their family need to pick up the slack. All right. And unfortunately, their fathers are not in their lives, but that's okay. They have me. So they'll be coming to live with me. Like I said, my nephew will be here. What's today? The 23rd, 24th. He'll be here the 28th. Yeah, so he'll be here in like 4 or 5 days. So him, my grandson, they'll be living with me from here on in. Because like I said, I believe in practicing what I preach. So I am going to take them on and they will be living with me, and I will raise them. I will teach them how to work. Because at some point my black ass going to retire, and it would be nice to leave my business to someone. My sons are not interested in the business at all. They have their own lives and wives. So they like my oldest son, he's an electrical engineer. Uh, he works for the city. My youngest son is a master carpenter. He has his own business. They're not even interested in what I do for a living at all. Trust me, I've been trying to get them down here for years to help the old man out. Oh, well, come down there. So, they got their own lives and wives, and, they're doing their own thing. But lucky me, I have a grandson. And he is my second. Right? He is my second oldest grandchild. He just turned 12. And likewise, my nephew is 12 as well. So they're here, man. Part of the old team of X, and hopefully I can leave my I got 5 grandchildren, brother Rodney, brother Ricardo. 5 altogether. 5 altogether. 3 granddaughters, 2 grandsons I have. Yeah, man. I love them all to death. Far as my grandson and my nephew go, though, I'm bringing them with me. I'm bringing them here with me. They're here with me because I need them to be. And they need to be, you know. I say again, man, I believe in practicing what I preach. And I think that the men who are related, all right, the men who are related to these children, their uncles, their older cousins, their whoever, those are the men who should be stepping in and providing these boys with counsel, guidance, training, instruction. And they should be doing it even if their mothers don't like it. Like with my nephew, for instance. His mother doesn't really like the fact that I'm doing this. She's just kind of going along with it, because I outrank her on the chain. Far as my grandson goes, I don't even have to. That wasn't even an ask right there. I'm like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. Get his shit, and then we out of here. I just kind of outrank him on the chain. So, I can come in because of who I am. I can come in and say, hey, look, this boy's pops ain't around. He needs someone to teach him. So he come and live in my house. That's basically what it is in a nutshell. It's not a lot of words taken. And I basically get this shit here. Okay. Pretty much. Because one thing that people in my family understand is that I don't really talk a lot about this kind of shit. I talk. They listen. Especially the women. Now, trust me, they don't like a lot of the shit that I say now. They don't. They hate the shit I talk about because of the way I talk about it. Now, they hate it, but they can't refute it. So they don't really have a choice but to go along with it. That's pretty much how it is in a nutshell. That's why the boys will be living here. That's pretty much it, man. It's pretty cut and dry. It's not even like this big difficult thing. It's pretty cut and dry. This is where them boys need to be. This is where they're going to be. All right. They're here with me working. All right. In the truck with me on the job site. All right. In the shop. Yes. It's what's going to be happening. It's not going to be a lot of fucking around and playing Xbox and PlayStation and on the phone. No. Those things are going to be privileges, not rights. Yeah. They're going to learn how to work. They're going to learn how to be men. They're going to learn how to get them studies right in school. They're going to learn how to be responsible. They're going to learn how to save. They're going to learn how to build. They're going to learn about credit. All of that shit. Because I'm going to make sure they have a little credit card, debit card, try to teach them about credit. So when they get older, they can understand credit so they can use it to their advantage. All right. Instead of being like me, I didn't start figuring out how to use credit right to my ass like 35. They're not going to have that issue. I'm going to teach them about all of those things, man. I'm going to teach them about all of those things. So when they get up there and become grown men and go out into the world, I can at least have the satisfaction of knowing that I sent 2 responsible young men out in the world. All right. I can at least have that confidence because that's how I feel about my sons. I sent 2 responsible men out in the world who have families. All right. Who have given me grandchildren, who handle their own business, have their own homes, have good income, have decent ladies by their sides. They ain't in prison. All right. They ain't on drugs. They ain't out there robbing and stealing and knocking old ladies in the head in the subway. They ain't doing none of that shit. So I did it once. I think I can do it again. And I raised them when I was a lot dumber. So I'm a lot smarter now. So, I mean, I should be able to handle this task because I'm a lot smarter now than I was then. Because like I said, when I was raising them, I was young and stupid myself. So, I'm surprised how good they turned out, you know? So now that I'm an older fella and I got a lot more wisdom and I got a lot more time and I got I have a more in-depth life, you know, I can actually I can carve out a niche for them. I can explore what their strengths and weaknesses are and, you know, maybe just give them the right shove, the right push into the right direction, you know? And I'm getting them at a good age. 12 years old is a good age, and it's not like they're not familiar with me. They know exactly who the fuck I am. All right. They know how I operate too. They know what it is up in here. Oh, yeah, they know what it is living up in here. They already know. So I think it's a good thing. And we're gonna see how it goes, man. But like I said, as an older fella, I think I'm more equipped to do this. I probably wouldn't be doing this if I was younger. I wouldn't think about taking, especially like in my 20s, I wouldn't think about, having my nephew come live with me or my grandkid or, some shit like that. That'd be the last thing on my mind. But, you know, I think I have a lot to offer, my young descendants. I think I have a lot to offer. I think there's a lot I can teach them. Um, I think I can teach them how to respect wisdom. All right. I can teach them how to respect other men. I can teach them how to respect other men's dreams and goals and ambitions and accomplishments. You know, I don't think it's going to be easy, but I'm slowly getting back into the mold. Having a kid here, I'm getting slowly used to it. Um, it helps that it's a kid that knows me already. That helps. It's more of it's kind of like it's like a reset for me almost. Yeah, it's like a reset because I say again, when I had my kids, I was a young guy. I was really young. I raised my kids when I was like in my 20s. So, by the time I was 30, shit, my oldest kid was already 12. Yeah, my oldest kid was already 12 by the time I was 30. So it's like it's a redo, man. You know, it's a redo. It's maybe a chance for me to not make the bad decisions that I made, with my kids. I think I can do a better job this time around. Um, and I have more resources than I did back then. I mean, when I was a young guy, I didn't have a lot of money, man. And I was a working stiff, man. I was a 9 to 5er. I mean, I did all right, but I didn't have a lot of money. I was a 9 to 5er, a clock puncher, just like everybody else. But now it's different. I call my own shots, man. Shit, I can take a fucking day off, man, and take my boys fishing. You know, I could take a day off, man, and take them out, man, and take them out shopping for a nice pair of boots. I can do that kind of shit. I can take a day off, man, and take them somewhere to one of my associates' shop and show them something that I may not even know that much about. Forget what I know, because it's not all about just what I know. They'll get an opportunity to learn about other things as well. Yeah, they'll get to learn about other things as well, man. I'll get to show them what other people know. It's not going to be limited. I'm a person that travels pretty often. We travel, every few months. We definitely going to be traveling now that this COVID shit done kind of, teetered down. Plus, I've had the jab. I've gotten the shot. So, some traveling going to go down. We did travel April. I told y'all about that. April, we we went down to Florida, for our anniversary. So, I mean, we planning another trip, man. We probably do something in the next 3 weeks. In the next 3 weeks, we'll probably take off and go somewhere. We probably won't go far though. We probably might go to New York or something like that, upstate New York. And guess what? They'll get to do that too. They'll get to come with me and travel and see the world. So it's not limited. It's not going to be a limited thing with them. It's not. Being here, they're going to learn a lot of shit. They are. They might even learn some shit. It might teach me some shit, in the process. So, y'all wish me luck. Shit, But I don't know what happened to everybody, man. I might have sent them the wrong damn link. I thought I sent everybody the right link. Let me see. Might have sent everybody the wrong goddamn link. Might have sent them the wrong goddamn link. No. I think I sent them the right one. Yeah. I think I sent them the right one. I think I did. That'd be fucked up because that'd be some real old nigga shit. You send everybody the wrong link and shit. You sitting here wondering why nobody's coming up here. Now that's real old nigga shit right there. But yeah, man. One thing I can say, right? And I know everybody says, "Oh, you old niggas" and all kind of stuff. But one thing I can say about being this age is that I probably have more peace in my life than I ever had. My life isn't chaotic. It was somewhat chaotic when I was a younger guy. Now that I'm this age, I don't have the chaos in my life. I pretty much do whatever I want. I call all my shots. I decide what work I do, what work I don't do. I decide where I live. I don't have to settle for much. When you get this age, you don't have to settle. What you want is what you get. You don't really have to settle for shit. Shit. If you want a particular car that's a particular color with a particular kind of engine and particular kind of wheels on it, you get it when you're this age. Because by this age, you usually have the resources where you can pretty much get most of the shit you want. You ain't struggling when you get my age. Well, at least you ain't supposed to be. You're not really struggling, financially. When you get my age, you're not struggling. I mean, the shit you want, you get. The shit you need, you buy. I mean, you don't have to, you don't worry like that when you get my age because your life is pretty much set out. You know what you're going to be doing. You know what you have. You know what you can afford to spend. And you do a lot of you find yourself, I know me. I live on a schedule, right? I mean, I pretty much wake up the same time every morning. Pretty much have my cup of coffee the same time. Walk outside on my deck in the morning, smoke a cigar pretty much at the same time. Leave the house at the same time. It's like, when you get my age, you like your life is kind of like on a schedule, man. You can pretty much set your clock by the old niggas. You can set your clock by us, man. You can set your clock by the old Negroes, man, because we kind of live in like a pattern, man. I mean, you know where to find us at any particular time because that's kind of how we are, man. It's kind of how we move. I mean, with the kids, coming here, that's going to change a little bit, but it's not going to change that much. It's not going to change that much, man. You know, it's not going to change that much. It's going to be pretty much. It's going to be pretty much the same. We're going to be pretty much moving the same. They will be working with me most days, depending on what I'm doing, what I got going on. They're going to be with me, most especially if I'm in the shop. You know, shop work. You know, they'll be with me. Now, if I'm doing something else, you know, like I'm on a contract job or something like that, that's different. But you know, they're gonna be in the shop. They're gonna be in the shop with me, you know, seeing what's going on in there, watching me, watching the other guys, helping me clean up around there, learning what tools are, um, learning what the work is that we do, learning what work is, period. I mean, that's gonna be their life, man, you know? And I know it may sound like it sucks for a little kid, because when I was younger, I was like that with my pops, you know, because my pops had a landscaping business. So, I mean, in the summertime, you was up 5:30 in the morning on that truck. All right. By 6:30, y'all on the road. I mean, I grew up like that. All right. I grew up like that. And when I was a kid, it sucked. It sucked. But by the time I got to be an adult, I realized how fortunate I was for having that man teach me all this stuff that I hated when I was a kid. I hated it. I'm telling you. Because like I said, my father, he did hardscapes, he did landscapes, he did all kinds of shit. By the time I was 12 years old, he would have me driving the fucking dump truck. I'll be driving the dump truck with 4 yards of gravel on it, soil, sometimes driving the truck with a fucking a backhoe on it. 12 years old, I was doing that shit. All right. And hated it. I hated it. But like I said, right now, well, by the time I was in my 20s, there's not a piece of equipment I can't operate. Not a piece. I've been operating fucking equipment ever since I was like 11. Bulldozer, backhoe, payloader, skid steer. I drive all that shit, man. I operate all that shit. And guess what? Never went to school. Never went to school to operate it. 12 years old. Dumping fucking soil on the back of a fucking dump truck. 12 years old. Fucking digging holes with a backhoe. 12 years old. And like I said, I hated it back then. When I look back on it now, probably was the best thing to happen to me, man. So, in kind, I'm going to do the same thing for these boys, for my nephew, for my grandson. I'm going to do the same thing. And I know they're going to hate it. They're going to hate it, man. You think they're going to enjoy being out there with me, working on a fucking payloader? You think they're going to enjoy standing around with me as me and my men design hydraulic systems and generator systems? You think they're going to enjoy that? Of course they're not. They're going to hate it. But that's okay. That's okay. Because the whole time they'll be hating it, they'll also be learning it. Just like I was. Because I was damn sure hating it. But I was damn sure learning it too. So, you know, I'm going to pass it on, man. I want to do for them what my father did for me, man. Said he taught me how to work, man. He taught me how to have things. He taught me how to take care of myself and have something and not have to rely on no fucking body. Not my mama, not him, not some woman, not the system, none of that shit. I have to rely on any of that, any of it. Never have. Never had to rely on him. Never had to rely on my mama. Never had to rely on a woman. Never had to rely on the system. Never had to. It's all because of him. All because of the old man. So, because like I said, I look at my sons. My sons are the same way. They both blue collar dudes just like me. And the crazy thing is I was hoping that they would go to college. And I was hoping that they wouldn't have to be blue collar guys. But I mean, when my sons were little, I mean, they were around me like all the time, and everything I did, they wanted to do. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that they grow up to be blue collar guys. Uh, you know, like I said, my youngest son, he's like a master carpenter, boy, that fool can build anything. Anything. You hear me? Anything. Anything. That boy can build any goddamn thing. And my oldest son, he's an electrical engineer. He actually works for the city. So, they have their own, my oldest son, he's been working, for the city for a while. He's good in his career, makes good money. My youngest son, he's got his own business. So they don't want shit to do with their old man shit. They're not interested in it. But I'm lucky because my grandson is. My grandson is into motors and engines, and he's actually into it, man. He's into it. And he kind of knows his way around the toolbox for such a young fella. That's very impressive. So we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out, folks. We will see how it turns out. I know I'm just rambling on, about my life, but yeah, man, that's part of the joy of being, the quote unquote old Negro. You get to see the people you raise grow up. You get to see your sons and daughters get married. You get to see your grandchildren. You get to see life through a different lens. Because as y'all know, I'm the patriarch of the family because my old man is dead. So I'm the old guy now. I'm the old guy. I'm the one that everyone comes to. Especially when they need money and shit. Especially when they need a few dollars, goddamn it. But yeah, I'm the one that everyone comes to for things. Come to for advice. Come to when they need help. Come to when they don't understand things. Yeah. I mean that's kind of who you become when you become the old Negro of the family. You become the person that people don't want to disappoint. It's a two-sided sword because people don't want to disappoint you, especially when you talk about your sons, your daughters, your grandkids, and those people, your nieces and nephews, they don't want to, they don't want to disappoint you and all that kind of stuff because they know how you are. And a lot of times that causes them to not tell you certain things. You have a tendency to kind of be the last one to kind of find out things sometimes because, they don't want to upset you. They don't want to disappoint you. They don't want you to get mad at them. I hear that a lot. Oh, we didn't say anything, Pop, because we know, you'd be disappointed. You'd be angry at us. The mere fact that you get angry at them or the possibility of them, thinking that you'll be disappointed in them carries a lot of weight, when you're the old guy. They don't want you to get mad. They don't want, don't tell Pop, Pop won't be mad, you're kind of in that position because you're kind of held in high regard when you're the old guy. Um, it was the same thing when my father was alive. I mean, you didn't want to upset Pop. You didn't want Pop screaming on you. You didn't want him to feel, disappointed in some shit you did, or, you know, my thing with my father, I never wanted my father to think I was stupid. So if I did, if I happened to make a stupid decision, I tried not to let him know about that shit until after I had fixed it. I wouldn't come to him and tell him some stupid shit I did because I didn't want him to think I was a stupid, young man. So I kind of see, because he used to be like, my dad used to tell me all the time, he used to be like, son, why you didn't tell me? And I tell him, look, Pop, I ain't want you to be upset. I didn't want you to be disappointed. And he would say all the time, hey, you're my son. I mean, I expect you to do some stupid shit sometime. You don't keep the shit from me. But, when it comes to like my daughter, right? She won't tell me certain things. I find that shit out later. And I'd be like, damn, why you didn't tell me? My oldest daughter. I'm like, why you didn't tell me? Oh, I didn't want you to get upset, Dad. I didn't want you to be disappointed, Dad. So now I am upset. Now I am goddamn disappointed because you didn't tell me the shit in the beginning. So, when you're the old guy, it's kind of like that. They don't want you to get mad. They don't want you to, feel disappointed in them and all that kind of shit, because they hold you in you hold a particular position in the family. So everybody kind of looks up to you. You're the one person people don't want to piss off. You're the one person, that they don't want to be cut off by. It's sort of like that. But the people in my tribe, my wife, my kids, my grandbabies, for the most part, I'm pretty proud of everybody. They never do nothing too stupid, to make me like, you know what, man, you just stupid as hell. They've never done anything too stupid, to make me want to just be like, you know what, don't call my damn house no more. It's never gotten to that point. They make me pretty proud. They do what they're supposed to do. They handle their business, for the most part. So I feel fortunate, man. I'm fortunate to have them. A lot of times they tell me they're fortunate to have me, but I think it's the other way around, man. I'm fortunate to have them, because a lot of things that I do because I have them. And likewise, a lot of things that I don't do them because I think about them. Um, I'm willing to sacrifice for my people, because they're my people. Those are people I am responsible for. All right. I'm directly responsible for those people. They are my community, a community that I built, and I'm directly responsible for them. Okay. Uh, if things happen, if things go amok, they grow into idiots or they do idiot shit, I'm somewhat responsible. And I'm willing to own that because I am responsible for those people. I'm responsible for my family. I'm responsible for my wife, my children, my grandchildren. You goddamn right. I'm responsible for them. Now, my children are adults, so I can't control them. But if they are failures, man, how can that not be a failure on me? How can I not take blame for some of that failure? How can I not? Especially if I raised them. I have to own that. I have to understand that. So that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to that kind of thing. I've never tried to be the grumpy old man, even though, they say I'm grumpy sometimes. They do say that. But I try hard not to be the grumpy old man. I really do. I try not to be the grumpy old fucking man. But, sometimes your family get on your damn nerve. You know, they be doing stupid shit. You know, they just be doing stupid stuff. You're like, come on, man, what's wrong with you? And see, when you're the old guy, nobody outranks you. All right, that's it. You're at the tip of the fucking spear. So, you know, you're at the tip of the pyramid. So no one outranks you. So no matter what you say, it goes. I mean, people may not like it, but you know, what you say pretty much goes for the most part. I say again, it was the same way when my father was alive. I mean, when the old man spoke, that was it. All right, that was pretty much it. Not too much could be said. All right. When he spoke, that was it. You may not have liked it, but it was gonna be whatever that old man said. And now I'm the old man, so whatever I say, pretty much it. Yeah, pretty much it. You know? And I don't say that much, you know. They never put me in a position where I have to say too much about anything, you know. But I make my presence known, you know. And shit, I call family meetings. Shit, I call family conference calls sometime. Get everybody ass on the phone. Listen here, Negroes. Yeah, I do that too. Yeah, I call family meetings, family conference calls, you know, especially when I find out some bullshit 2 weeks later that I should have found out when it first happened. I round everybody ass up. Yeah, I round them all up. I'm like, look here, Negroes. This is how this is going to be from here on in. Yeah. You know, when you're the old guy, you have the power to do that. Yeah, you can do that. When you're the old guy, you can do that shit. You know, so being the old Negro has its perks. It does, man. It does. A lot of power when you're the old guy in your family, man. You have quite a bit of power. You're the most powerful person in your family. Like I said, no one outranks you. So, you know, it's but also with the power comes responsibility. Because a lot's expected of you as well, being the old guy. I guess that's why I kind of do things the way I do it. Because I have grandchildren, I have grandsons, I have granddaughters, and I know one day they're going to be adults too. And the last thing I want to do is fucking embarrass them. Likewise, I don't want to fucking embarrass my children. It would be an embarrassment to my children if I was a failure. I think it would suck pretty bad because it would have sucked pretty bad for me. You know, if my old man was a failure. I like being looked up to. I like being the guy that they expect to not only say the right things, but do the right things. So, and that's what's expected of you, man, when you're the old Negro. That's what's expected of you. I mean, when you're people's grandfather and father, you know, you don't want to get caught red-handed doing childish, immature shit. You don't want to get caught not handling your business. You know, even if you, from time to time, say things and do things that they don't necessarily like or they don't necessarily agree with, I don't think it ever gets to the point where, with me, I don't think it ever gets to the point where, you know, they are embarrassed by the things I do or say, because I try not to do that. You know, you know, I try to keep them in mind, you know, when I operate. Because I say again, I mean, as the old guy, as the old Negro, you're expected to carry yourself a particular way. And I know that A lot of younger guys don't understand that, but you will understand it when you get my age and you have grandchildren and you got little tiny ones calling you pop pop. You'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Um, it's great being a grandfather because when you get tired of them, you can always give them back. See, when they're yours, you can't. There's no one to give them to. But see, if they're your grandbabies, you get tired of them. You're like, "Here, get on the phone, come get this Negro, before I squeeze his little head like a damn orange." What's good, brother Art? Yeah, come get this Negro before I squeeze his little head like an orange. Just palm his little shit. Come get this Negro. When you're a grandfather, it's different. It's totally different. And you have, like I said, when you're a grandfather, you're different than a parent. You're like the ultra parent. Now, mind you, you're the parent that can get away with doing shit like spoiling them and letting them eat shit they ain't supposed to be eating. Buying them shit that their parents don't want them to buy, want you to buy. You get away with that shit. Yeah, you get away with doing that shit. Oh, Pop, I didn't want you to buy it up. Too late. And already bought this shit. That it ain't going back to the store because I threw the receipt and the tag in the garbage. When you're a grandparent, you get to do that kind of stuff. Especially your little ones, you take them out, stuff them with a bunch of bullshit. They be bouncing all off the fucking wall. Here, see y'all later. Oh, shit. The General, what's good with it, man?
Hey, what's good, brother T.P.O.T? What's happening, bro?
Same old shit, man. Just up here running my mouth, man, talking about some of this old Negro stuff.
Hey, you doing a good job, man. You had me cracking up. I was sitting there listening as you were talking about your grandboys come to stay with you, and you said, ain't gonna be none of that Xbox and PlayStation. They're gonna learn how to work.
Yep. They're going to be right in the truck with me. They're going to be at that shop. Yep. That's what's going down. They
Well, that's a
already know. I told them how it's
you
going to be. They know.
you told them that's a lot of what's
Yeah.
missing in today's society. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it. A lot of what's missing in today's society because just these last two generations, I believe, are lost, man. They didn't have any guidance. And I think a lot of brothers in this space in the sphere have kind of taken note to that, especially the older brothers, the ones in
Mm-hmm.
our age group. We see it. You
Yeah.
know, when I was coming up, my dad didn't play that crap. We had things we had to do. Which is the things that I learned as a young man, as a preteen, teenager coming up. I carried those over into the latter stages of my life. And you and I are in the same age group. We're Gen X guys in our 50s. So um,
Yep.
this is why we understand how to cut a niche in the world for ourselves. And as I look at the next generation, and it may be the different circumstances, maybe they didn't have a man or a dad or whomever, but at the end of the day, I think that is a huge problem in our community, man. The like of not having
Yeah.
those chores that you had to do. You see, my dad didn't have to tell me two, three times, a week what day the trash man was going to run. He didn't have to tell me
Yeah.
two, three times a day, you know, hey, this weekend is coming up. I want the grass cut. He didn't have to remind me of that all through the week. We knew that my brothers and I, we knew that there were certain things that had to be done. There was no negotiation. There was
Yeah.
no, you play PlayStation late at night, then you don't do your half, do your homework. No, no, no. Wasn't none of that. And we
Yeah.
had game consoles, contrary to popular belief. We had the Atari 5600 and all that crap too. But at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, we also understood that to whom much is given, much is required. So when my dad would say, hey, Saturday, you're gonna go out here and pull all this grass out of the flower bed, you're gonna cut this grass, you're gonna, wash these windows down in this house, you're gonna wash the car, you're gonna do all this stuff. It was automatic. Thursday is trash
Yeah.
day. It was automatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
came
a
up the
lot of
same
that,
way, man.
a lot of that was not transcribed down from generation to generation, and I think there are some valid points. the single parent households, and the traditional house setting was lost, in my opinion. But still, there's no excuse, because as you grow older and you mature into manhood, there are certain things that you have to do anyway that are going to be placed upon you innately. Paying your rent, paying your fucking water bill, your car note, your insurance,
Mhm.
buying your clothes. All of these things are innately going to happen once you mature into manhood. So if you didn't get it coming up as a preteen, a teenager, hopefully you'll get it in your 20s. And I don't think that that's happening. I think a lot of people are just bumping through life and looking for someone else to do it for them. That's my opinion on
Yeah.
that, bro.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the people that's growing up now, especially when you're talking about the millennials, when you're talking about them, they grew up with the internet. So, they grew up right alongside with the internet, and everything is in real time. They want everything to be easy. Everybody wants to be an internet millionaire. Everybody going to make $1 million on the internet somehow, which we know is a farce, because that's not going to be everybody. It's only going to be some people. So you got these people who grew up with this sense of entitlement, with this sense of laziness, with this sense of video game on the brain type shit. So, I mean, you got a lot of dudes, man, who walk around here and they're not even quote unquote young. You got dudes that's like in their 30s and shit, man. And these dudes don't even got a hustle. These dudes don't got a job. These dudes are still living with their fucking mama. They don't own a car. All right. None of that shit. They just kind of living day by day. They hanging out in front of the fucking store and the bodega and shit, asking people for $1 as they walk by. I know, I see these motherfuckers. I see them all the time. I see them. And, the people will tell you, oh man, they could turn into something. They could. I find that hard to believe, because, you know, everybody who fails in life isn't going to turn it around and become a success. That's just not true. Now, people don't like you to say that. People like you to say, oh man, everybody can do everything. Bullshit. All right. If that was the case, we wouldn't see so many motherfuckers walking around pushing shopping carts and shit with 35-inch beards with a bird's nest in them, wearing 9 coats in August. If that was the case, these people whose lives have failed, that's who these people are. These people you see stand on the side of the road, pushing a shopping cart, sleeping underneath the train trestle. These people's lives have failed, man. Their lives have failed. All right. They have failed. And now, you know, you see these younger guys and you look at them, man, and this is where some of them are headed. This is where some of them are headed. Especially those dudes who still living with mama and grandma and everybody. Because once grandma die, all right, if she don't own that damn house that they living in, he ain't gonna be able to keep it up, because this nigga ain't got a job. And if she do happen to own the damn house, he ain't gonna be able to keep it up. This nigga ain't got a job. He can't pay the taxes on it. You know how many freaking how many stories I've heard, man, of people who lost a paid for house because they couldn't keep the damn taxes on it up. They couldn't pay the property tax. The house paid for. They let the goddamn property taxes balloon up to this ridiculous amount, and now it's got this $15,000-$20,000 tax lien on it, and somebody come and scoop it out from under them by paying the tax lien. I've heard multiple stories of that, man. So what I can say is this. One thing I learned over all the years that I've been on this damn earth is that no one's going to take care of you like you. Fine, you get out there, you can find some woman that's going to take care of you, or your mama taking care of you, or whoever. Man, that is such a minimal existence. I mean, because when other people take care of you, you are not free. And even if you are free, you don't have any liberty. Because the minute they stop taking care of you, your ass is done off. Because what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Peace, Lady Shonda. Those of you who weren't tuning in last night, Lady Shonda will be here Thursday. Her and the good doc. They're going to be doing a presentation, and we're going to be talking about the medical field and medical careers, how you can get into them, what you need, what medical careers are out there. So make sure you have your black behinds here Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, on the T.P.O.T YouTube page, because you might just learn something next Thursday night. Yeah, you might just learn something. So make sure you hear. And also, this just in, Wednesday, Game Changer will be here. That's right. Brother Game Changer will be here. And we will be chopping it up, talking about changing the game on the internet with Game Changers. So, yeah, next week's going to be pretty good. But make sure you hear, because like I said, Lady Shonda and the good Dr. Phoenix will be in the house. And they'll be hitting you in the head, man, with some bombs about these medical careers, man. Those of you who are interested in getting into the medical field, they'll be here with some really good information. I do believe Lady Shonda is going to do a presentation, I believe. So it's gonna be good, man. Because like I always say, sometimes we actually have serious shows here. Yeah, sometimes we actually have serious shows. So make sure you hear next week, man. All right. All right. Um, I know you about to retire from the military soon, right, General?
That is correct. That is
So
correct. I've been on a countdown for the last 28 months, brother, and it's a wrap for me. It's over with. 24 years, I'm done. Going
okay.
away. Yes, sir.
So once you retire and all of that,
hmm
um, what's your plans after you retire? Like, I mean, where you
Well,
going, what you're doing?
I'm traveling, brother. I'm spending time with the grandkids. I'm spending time with the family. I can't recapture the time that I missed being away, being overseas for those 10 consecutive years and deployments and all of that crap. You can never get that time back. So what you have to do now is you have to move forward. You see,
Mhm.
to go along with the topic of your discussion, the old niggas understood what it was to invest in the future, right? You might have got it at 28, 29, 30, but you got it. So a lot of these young cats, they're not getting it. So they're 28, 29, 30, 34, and some of them are even older than that, and they still want to be in their 20s. They want to dress 20, they want to act 20, they want to think 20. And they think that this quick money is the way to go. Yes, there are people that are going to make money very quickly. I myself, I invested in my future. I knew what I wanted to do a long time ago, and I did it. That's why I stuck with the military for so long. So I'm going to be in a position to where I can do what I want to do and not what I have to do. And that's
Mm,
those are the things that I pass down to to my children, my sons and nieces and nephews, and hopefully, God will and say the same. I'll be able to pass those same that same thought press that same thought process down to my grandson and my granddaughters. Invest in your time while you're young. Get yourself stable because the economy, as we know it, is changing. There's no
yes.
guarantee. I get it. You come into the information age, the internet age, and it's about Bitcoin. Let me jump on Bitcoin. But you just told a story here where you invested and you lost a little money. Got it. And see,
Hmm.
I think that it's good for you to do that. But if that's what you're hinging your hat on to create a nest egg as a young man, and I'm not saying that that's what's happening. All I'm saying is if you haven't done anything other than that, then you're kind of up against the wall.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just where we are. You know, I'll get paid a handsome salary, and I'll get VA benefits and all of that good stuff. Courtesy of Uncle Sam, and I'll have a great life. I'll make more money out of the army than I do in the army without having to work,
Mm,
without having to get up and go punch a card. So if I were to say, for example, start a YouTube channel, then I wouldn't have to be dependent upon, people to donate. If I
yeah.
were, for example, say I wanted to become an entrepreneur, then I could invest in myself directly.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But a lot of these
Yeah.
guys have to, guys and girls, the younger generation, they have to go out there and seek a business loan, and I may have to do the same thing. However, come upon there are assets involved to back that up when you apply for those loans. So you got a lot of the younger generation, they don't even see the benefit of home ownership. They want to act like
Yeah.
they want to be nomads, and that's
Yeah.
okay if that's your lifestyle. But what are you
Man,
gonna
fuck
do?
that.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when you hit mid 40? When you're 45, 50? You still renting from somebody?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You
Paying they
think you're
damn
gonna be
mortgage.
able to, in the way that the housing market is going, you think you're gonna be able to live in a substantial neighborhood, because you've made 25, 30,000, dollars, 40,000, 50, maybe 100,000, and you'll be so there go all your money when you try to go into this, to become a homeowner. And a lot of it has to do with experience. As you get older, your thought process change. I wasn't thinking about buying no goddamn house when I was a 22, 23-year-old man.
Nope.
Not at all.
Nope.
I didn't think about that until, till approaching 30, as you said earlier. Then I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
shit. I don't want to keep renting from somebody making someone else rich. So I invested. My family invested. My brothers and I got together along with my dad. We did an INC. We have several pieces of rental property, at least 7 rent houses. My brother and I are trying to get more here in Texas. We're trying to do 3 more here in Texas.
Mm.
That'll give us 10 total pieces of property. So what happens is you INC that into a family trust. Now you have something to pass down to your children and your grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, as you were saying earlier, right? This next generation, and I'm not pointing the fingers at them. They want to complain about what they wasn't taught. Hell, we wasn't taught a lot of shit, because our parents wasn't taught a lot of shit. Their parents wasn't taught a shit, and generations before that wasn't taught shit. So you got to understand, we're just coming out of, being less than thought of as the kind of farm animal less than 150 years ago. So we
Mm.
started from absolutely zero. That song that was written started from the bottom. Now we here. Yes, your ancestors, my ancestors, a lot of our ancestors, they started all the way from the fucking bottom, getting it out the mud, getting it out the dirt. That's what you want to talk about. They really had to get it out the mud, get it out the dirt. And then you have this next generation. Oh, y'all didn't leave us nothing. Well, hell, didn't nobody leave me nothing.
Yeah.
I had to build it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to build it. I had to use the education that I gained, the knowledge that I gained. I had to go out and seek it. That my dad didn't teach me. Of course, he taught me about credit, which I fucked that up when as a young man going to college. You get that little credit card and you burn
Yeah.
that
Me too,
motherfucker.
man. Me
you
too,
know,
man. I fucked my credit up when I was a young guy, man.
and that's a
Took me
part.
a took me a
It
while to
took a
get it
while,
right.
yeah, and that's a part of learning. But when you come into the knowledge, so now what I do is I pass that knowledge down to my sons and my grandson. Hey, don't get that little $1,500, $2,500 credit card and go burn that bitch up and not pay it. You're gonna kill your credit. Hey, make sure you pay your shit on time, and all of that stuff. How to build it, how to keep it without having an excess amount. That's another thing that that's not being taught. Financial responsibility, family responsibility, manly responsibility. Those things are not being taught. It's just people are just kind of finding it out on their own.
Yeah.
So we got a long way to go, man. As far as where we are, as far as manhood is concerned, in my opinion, because it's not a lot of it out here. I saw a young man earlier today, uh, pushing 40 years old, and he looked like he was dressing and acting fucking like he's 20. I'm like, wow, 40 years
Yeah.
old, still depending on
Yeah.
some female. Speaking of, I was on a panel just yesterday, day before yesterday, and we were having a conversation. Um, and I heard a couple of brothers say that it's okay to take money from a woman and to come up off a woman. It's okay. That's their belief system. Well, I disagreed, of course, because I wasn't taught that way. I
Me
wasn't
either.
taught you move into a woman's house, no matter how bad you go down on your luck as a man, you fucking figure it out. But this next
Mm-hmm.
generation, they don't give a fuck. They don't care.
Yeah.
They really don't give a damn. I stay with my. Where you live at? Oh man, I stay with my girl. You stay with your girl, and you wonder why we have these problems, this gender war that's going on. You know what I'm saying? You wonder
Yeah.
why. Like you, X, I did the same thing. I hit 17 years old, graduating high school. My dad was getting up, getting ready to go to work one morning. I had my little bags packed. I was going off to school, headed off to college. So my dad comes downstairs and he said, "Well, um, I guess you ready to go, huh?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Okay, just remember your roots. Remember what you were taught. You're prepared." And I went ahead on and went out there and went and left and went to school, man. At the summertime, I didn't wait until fall. I didn't fuck around all summer long. I got a head start. Went on out there and got my little shit set up and got my little place set up and got my little job and got squared away. And I worked that summer prior to starting school because I knew that I wanted to have certain shit when the school year started. I wanted to dress a certain way. I wanted to ride a certain way. So I invested in myself. You got motherfuckers now, man. They'll get up. They'll if they hire a motherfucker to lay down to do a job, they'll get up to quit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I never seen nothing like it, and then complain. And we've heard this before, X. We've heard this. The white man, they holding us down. Didn't we hear that shit when we were young men? They got their foot on our neck. They ain't gonna. The white man ain't gonna give us no job. But what have you done to
Yep.
qualify for the job?
Yep.
What have you done to qualify for the job? Did you put forth the effort to get the education needed, the certification needed to go out there and be competitive for in the job market? No, you didn't. You had some girl to do your homework. You cheated your way through school. Now you don't know the basics of what you need to know in order to go out here and be competitive. And
Well,
you want to
the white
complain
the
the
white
white
the
man
white
holding you back.
man the white man stopped him from getting the complications too,
Mm-hmm.
General. See, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's that's what you forget, Dad. He also stopped. He didn't just stop them from getting the job. He stopped them from getting qualified for the job as well. But we've been hearing these same excuses. That's the thing. You know, us old niggas, as y'all say, we've been hearing these bullshit ass excuses that we hear in 2021. We was hearing these bullshit excuses back in 1981.
81. Sure was. Sure was. Heard this shit ever since
1991,
81,
goddamn
91. Yeah.
it.
Same shit. Same
Same
shit.
shit.
So when you look at it and you say, okay, so you got your certification, so you got your education. There are no jobs in the city for what you're qualified to do. Why not relocate? You remember when everybody and their mama that was black in the 80s, Atlanta, there were three specific cities, people that were in college that were graduating who thought they were African American or black men and women, upwardly mobile. There were three cities in particularly in the 80s that where people of color wanted to move to.
Hmm.
One, the main city was Atlanta.
Yep.
Everybody, no matter where you were, Atlanta was, man, I'm gonna graduate school, I'm gonna move out to Atlanta because the job market was hot for African Americans in Atlanta. The number two city was Washington, D.C. The number three
Hmm.
city at that particular point in time was Dallas, Texas. Those were the top three cities where African Americans wanted to move to. And then as time went on in the 90s, Charlotte became one of the hotbeds of places to move if you were black and you were upwardly mobile and you had a degree, So there were a couple of cities that were sprinkled in there, but those were the main three cities where most of the people at that particular point in time when I was in college going to school 85, 86, 87, and 88, those were the main three cities where black people were students were talking about moving to once they completed their degrees or certifications. Why? Because it was a hotbed for job opportunities. They were the new black mecca, so to speak, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they were. They
So
were back
now,
in those days.
so now that those cities, basically those cities have become, I won't say infiltrated, I'll say they've become flooded out with people who migrated there and through the 80s and 90s. It's tightened up the job market. So what do you have to do? You have to look outside of those cities. You have to
Hmm.
figure out where you're going to go. And there's no grit, there's no effort. There's a lack of effort and grit. Of being afraid to fail. So I've never been afraid to fail because I was taught failure is good because it teaches you what not to do, how not to repeat the process of failure. You feel me?
True.
These
True.
cats, they don't understand that because when they fail, they go back to mama house. When they fail, they go back to girlfriend house.
Yeah. 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 When I if I felt any failure, I didn't have anything to fall back on. I just had to fix the failure. I had to,
Facts.
I had to defeat the failure. I couldn't run back. When I went to school, shit, man, when I went off to school as a young man, shit, I went off to school was a fucking 8-hour drive, from where my parents lived. So, if shit had went bad, I couldn't go back there. I had to do my own thing, especially, and when I came back from school and came out, and started having babies and shit, that was it.
That was over with.
Now I'm definitely on my own, and not only am I on my own, I got woman and baby in tow. So now it's for real. Now, I can't bring my girl and my baby to my dad's house. You know what I'm saying? I can't I can't be knocking on his door talking about Pop, can we live here?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
wasn't gonna work.
If it got to a point where it was just, you hit that bottom and you needed that 30 days, 60 days, probably, hey, look, all right, you're a man now. Get your shit together and make it happen. But I felt like you felt it was almost an embarrassment for me to turn and tuck tail and go home.
Yeah,
It was an
yeah.
embarrassment to show up and
It was,
knock on my dad's dad. I got an eviction notice. I lost my job. That was an embarrassment, man. My father was,
yeah.
what the fuck is wrong? What you mean?
How
You did
how you
what?
how you let that happen?
Yeah. What the
How'd you
fuck is
let
you
that
doing?
happen?
But see,
Yeah,
that goes back to the same old age old additive, and we talk about it. And I think that the conversation gets convoluted when we talk about the single parent household, regardless
yeah,
of how it happened, regardless of whether it was the man's or the woman's fault, which caused predominantly women to be single parents, single mothers. It's still a problem that persists. Now, how do we correct that problem? Because we've got 30 years of that problem being compounded now. You see,
hmm
so it's kind of like that's the norm in society, right? That's the norm in society right now.
I think I think correcting the problem is doing, what I've been saying we need to do for years, in which I'm doing myself. Um, these women who have these children, and the father has made it painfully obvious that he doesn't want to be bothered with said children. I think the men in that woman's family need to pick up the mantle. Even go as far as and I implore the women, if you have sons and you have an uncle or a grandfather or father or whoever, I think you really should consider letting those boys live with your father, with
Mm-hmm.
your uncle, with
Mm-hmm.
your, you really should consider it, ladies. I mean, I know you only got the baby there so you can get a check for him anyway. But I mean, you should really consider, because if it's really about, because let's be honest here, if it's really about what's in the best interest of the child, you know, what's always said, if it's really in the best interest of the child, your selfish needs shouldn't trump that. The fact that you want the boy living with you shouldn't trump that, because your black ass know that that boy gonna be better off if you let him go live with your father, or let him go live with your uncle or your brother, or especially if your brother is a competent, productive man, especially if your uncle is a competent, productive man who's got his shit together. I mean, what, if it's for the best interest, if it's in the best interest of the child is going to be better off there with him than with you, especially if your ass struggling. If you struggling, don't you think it would be better for that boy to be living with his uncle, your father, your grandfather, whoever, his grandfather, even if his father is not around, even if his father is not around, and say the baby's grandfather wants the boy, I think you should go ahead and let that boy, if not stay there full time, stay there 80% of the time, because the boy is just going to be better off there. He is. and it's supposed to be what's in the best interest of the child. So I will say again, ladies, I implore you, if you have a son, especially your sons, if you have a son and his father does not want to be in his life, he's made that painfully obvious, you really should consider letting that boy go stay with your brother, with your father, with your grandfather, that boy's grandfather, that boy's uncle, that boy's whoever. I'm telling you, the boy's going to be better off over there. He just is, and you know he is. So that's something to consider. I mean, why do you think that I'm getting my nephew, and got my grandson? Because their fathers are not in their lives. So guess what? They're going to be living here now. So, that's what it's going to be. All right. Like I said, I believe in practicing what I preach. So I think the men that are in these young boys' lives, if there are any, you know, should go ahead and have these boys with them. If the mother, concurs, which she probably won't, because she want the boy there so she can collect the damn check from him and treat him like shit and abuse him, and that don't pay attention to his damn schoolwork, don't train him nothing, and have him still sitting down and take a freaking leak even though he's 16. So I mean, that's kind of where they're headed, when they're raised by these women, unfortunately. And people don't like when you say it. People don't like when you talk about it, man. But it is what it is. I just don't think a lot of these women, man, are capable of raising these boys into responsible men. I just don't. You know, I just. I don't think they're capable of doing it. Not all of them, and I would venture to say, not the majority of them. There may be a handful of women out there who, do the right thing, raise the boy, make sure he have, decent men around him, whether it be her brother, or her uncle, or her whoever. But for the most part, man, these women, they do a terrible job with these sons, man. That the evidence is clear. All you got to do is turn on the news, turn on the internet, or read the fucking paper. You can see, who do you think these people are, man, in these cities, man, that's killing all these folks and then shooting all these people in the head, doing all this kind of foolishness. You think these are dudes with fathers? You think these are dudes who've been raised by men? Are you kidding me? There's no way you can fucking believe that. All right? There's no way you can believe that these dudes who are causing all this chaos and mayhem in a lot of these major cities are dudes who were raised by men. These dudes were raised, these dudes was raised by these single ass mamas. Or as I like to say, these old moms. That's who these people were raised by. They're sending these people out in the world. These miscreants, all right? These said the wells. They're coming out of their houses, man. That's where they're coming from. Now, people, oh, no, they're not. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I tell you what you do. If you don't believe me, I'm gonna give y'all some old nigga knowledge, right? Go to a prison, go to a jail, talk to some of those dudes that's in there for murder, rape, robbery, and all this kind of shit. I guarantee you, most of those dudes in there don't have fathers. You know how I know? Because statistically, 70% of the people who are doing life in prison are people who didn't have a father. 65% of rapists didn't have a father. And I do believe somewhere between 70 and 75% of male inmates didn't have a father. I do believe. In
I
fact, let me
concur.
look it up. Let me look it up. Let me look it up here. You know, because I don't want y'all to think I'm making shit up, you know, even though this stuff is the white man's data. I know y'all don't like the white man's data. I know y'all don't like it, but that's all we got right now is the white man's data, y'all. That's all we got right in front of us. Let me see. Let me see. Says here, this is from the Ann E. Casey Foundation. It says, nearly, matter of fact, let me share it. So y'all don't think I'm making shit up. You know, y'all think people be making shit up. Y'all be thinking people make shit up. Oh, bada. Y'all can see, Annie Casey Foundation. Nearly 6 million kids are impacted by parental incarceration. Close to 6 million kids in America have experienced losing a parent to prison or jail at some point in their lives. Now, we talking about parents that are in jail, right? Children living in the South and Southwest are more likely to have experienced parental incarceration compared to their peers in other parts of the country. In Arkansas, which has the highest proportion of children affected, close to 1 in 5 kids have lost a parent to incarceration. Kentucky, 15%, Louisiana, 14%, Arizona, 13%, Tennessee, 13%, follow closely behind. The incarceration of a parent can be devastating to a family's stability and have as much impact on a child's well-being as abuse or domestic violence. Because of this, states must invest resources to support family members left behind, which I disagree with totally. And the reason why I disagree with that is because guess what? It's not the state or the county of the whoever's fault, man, that these motherfuckers are in jail. Now, people always talk the mass incarceration shit. I get it. I understand it. But at the same time, if someone goes off to prison, right? For instance, say I go off to prison, right? For whatever reason. The fucking state and the government and everybody else, they're not responsible for my house, for my wife, for my grandkid, they ain't responsible for that shit. I went to jail because whatever I did, I chose to do it. So I just don't think that other people should be under the gun or the taxpayers should subsidize the fact that my ass went to prison. I just don't believe that. But we're going to look up something else because that's not even what I was looking for. Let me see. That's not what I was looking for. Let me see. United States, there are more than 64 million who identify themselves as being a father. Out of that figure, only 26 million men are part of the home where they are married to a spouse and have children under the age of 18 living there. The U.S. Census Bureau reports that 22% of fathers are raising 3+ children under the age of 18, with all of them being their biological relative. Only 2% of the fathers raising their children are living in the home of a relative or unrelated individual. There are 2.5 million fathers who are on their own in a single-parent household. In 1970, there were only 400,000 fathers in this situation. 18% of the single-parent households recognized by the U.S. Census Bureau are headed by a single father. Fathers are important. Unfortunately, fathers are not always there. These statistics on fatherless homes show why it is important, even as a single parent, for a father to stick around. All right, so we're going to go ahead and run the statistics. We're going to go ahead and share this page too so y'all can see it, so y'all can read along. So y'all can read along with us. We at here. Okay, here it is. Yeah, statistics about fatherless homes. 85% of youth who are currently in prison grew up in a fatherless home. I said 70. I was off. 85% of youth who are currently in prison grew up in a fatherless home. 7 out of every 10 youth that are housed in state-operated correctional facilities, including detention and residential treatment, come from a fatherless home. All right. Now, this first study comes from where you are, General, from the Texas Department of Corrections. But this second statistic comes from the United States Department of Justice, also known as the DOJ. 39% of students in the United States from the first grade to their senior year of high school do not have a father at home. 39%. Children without a father are 4 times more likely to be living in poverty than children with a father. Children from fatherless homes are twice as likely to drop out of school before graduating than children who have a father in their lives. 24.7 million children in the United States live in a home where their biological father is not present. That equates 1 in every 3 children in the United States not having access to their father. Girls who live in a fatherless home have 100% higher risk of suffering from obesity. We talked about that the last couple of weeks, right? We talked about how not having a father around has a tendency to make children what? Fat as hell. But anyway, let's continue. They have 100% higher risk of suffering from obesity than girls who have their father present. Teen girls from fatherless homes are also 4 times more likely to become mothers before the age of 20. 57% of fatherless homes in the United States involved African American Black households. Hispanic households have a 31% fatherless rate, while Caucasian white households have a 20% fatherless rate. In 2011, 44% of children in homes headed by a single mother were living in poverty. Just 12% of children in married couple families were living in poverty. Children who live in a single parent home are more than 2 times more likely to commit suicide than children in a 2-parent home. Let's read that again. Children who live in a single parent home are 2 times more likely to commit suicide. But let these people tell it. None of these matter. None of this matters. You don't need a father. You don't need a family. You'll be just fine. I didn't have a father. I didn't have a family. Look at me. I've only been to prison 7 times. Stupid shit. 72% of Americans believe that a fatherless home is the most significant social problem and family problem that is facing their country. Only 68% of children will spend their entire childhood with any intact family. Only 68%. The other 32%, they just living their best life somehow. 75% of rapists, I was wrong on that too. I think I said 65. 75% of rapists are motivated by displaced anger that is associated with feelings of abandonment that involves their father. Living in a fatherless home is a contributing factor to substance abuse, with children from such homes accounting for 75% of the adolescent patients being treated in substance abuse centers. 85% of all children which exhibit some type of behavioral disorder come from fatherless homes. Let's read that one again. 85% of all children which exhibit some type of behavioral disorder came from a fatherless home. 90% of the youth in the United States who decide to run away from home or become homeless for any reason originally come from a fatherless home. In other words, if you have a pappy at the house, you're less likely to want to run away. You're less likely to want to run away if you got a pappy there. You're just less likely. 63% of youth suicides involve a child who was living in a fatherless home when they made their final decision. Children who live in a single parent or step-family home report less schoolwork monitoring, less social supervision, and lower educational expectations than children who come from two-parent homes. Let's read that one again. Children who live in a single parent or step-family home report less schoolwork monitoring, less social supervision, lower educational expectations than children who come from two-parent homes. Even when poverty levels are equal, children who come from a two-parent home outperform children who come from a one-parent home. Let's read that one again, too. Because, we have this thing where, it's poverty and all this kind of foolishness. Even when poverty levels are equal, children who come from a two-parent poverty home outperform the baby mama poverty home. That was a short version, y'all. In all seriousness, though, within the African-American Black community, about 2.5 million fathers live with their children, while 1.7 million fathers are not living with them. So that defeats the whole thing. Oh, y'all, most of y'all don't deal with your kids. Most of y'all are baby daddies. That's a fucking lie. All right? That's a fucking lie. That's a lie. In a 2014 study, only 3% of single mothers fell into the strongest demographic groups, while 44% fell into the weakest demographic groups. About 40% of children in the United States are born to mothers who are not married. Over 60% of these children were born to mothers who were under the age of 30. Wow. 25% of children are the age of 18. 25% of the children that are the age of 18 are currently being raised without the presence of a father. Around 50% of single mothers have never married. 29% are divorced, and only 1 in 5 are either separated or widowed. In other words, only about 20% of these goddamn women who got kids are actually, they had a husband and now, or he died or they split up. That's only 20% of them that actually can say that, even though you always got women talking around, talking about, oh, I've been engaged 2 times. And that means what? That means you also didn't get married 2 times. Because I had a chick tell me that before. Oh, I've been proposed to. I was engaged 2 times. Did you marry any one of them? Nope. That don't count. In single mother households, 50% involve just 1 child. 30% of single mothers are raising 2 children on their own. 27% of single mothers were jobless for the entire year while taking care of their children. Only 22% of those were out of work were receiving unemployment benefits at the time. The median income household for a single mother is about $35,000. The median income for a home with a married couple raising children is $85,000. 2/3 of the low-income working families with children are in the African-American community. We already know that. We got more baby mamas percentage-wise than anybody in the freaking world. Over 30% of the fatherless homes are classified as being food insecure. Yet, Only 13% of homes will utilize the services of a food pantry. Over 30% of fatherless homes also spend more than half of their income on housing costs, which classifies the household as experiencing a severe housing burden. In other words, when you have no father around, you don't know when your next damn the meal gonna come from around this motherfucker. You have no idea. You have to eat roaches and grass and leaves and shit when you live with a baby mama. God damn it. You will be eating roaches, leaves, and that fucking what's that other that cheese? You'll be on the cheese line, god damn it. You born to a baby mama, boy. Ain't no telling what your ass gonna have to eat. Because she's not going to have enough food to feed your ass. She's not going to have enough, y'all. She's just not. All right, we almost done. Lost my place. Oh, in the United States, Mississippi has the highest number of fatherless homes, with 36% of those households falling into the category. Louisiana comes in second at 34%, while Alabama is third at 31%. Children who live in fatherless homes are 279% more likely to deal drugs or carry firearms for offensive purposes compared to children who live with their fathers. Let's read that again. Children who live in a fatherless home are 279% more likely to deal drugs, carry firearms for offensive purposes compared to children who live with their father. 92% of parents who are currently in prison in the United States are fathers. Pregnant women who do not have the support of the father experiencing pregnancy loss at 48% rate. When the father is present, the prevalence of pregnancy loss falls to 22%. For single dads, 39% of households had a family income which was $50,000 or more. 44% of single dads were divorced. Only 33% had never been married. 43% of fathers do not see their role as something that is important to their personal identity. 54% of fathers in the United States say that parenting isn't enjoyable all of the time. Even in homes with fathers, the modern dad spends only 8 hours per week on childcare, which is 6 hours less than the modern mom. On the other hand, 43% of the modern dad's time is spent with paid work, compared to 25% of the time for the modern mom. Dads are spending three times more with the kids than dads did in 1965. Only 5% of households in the United States say that the ideal situation is to have mother work and father stay home to take care of the children. 53% of Americans say that mothers do a better job parenting than fathers. Only 1% of Americans say that fathers are better able to do a better job at parenting than mothers. That's because these people are stupid. They just think, because she had them, just because the baby fell out of her old funk box, that automatically makes her the best parent. And it's like, it's been proven to not be true. It's not true, folks. It's not true. Because if you look at the statistics, when you look at the resources, when you look at the stats, when you look at the charts, children have a tendency. Now, of course, the ideal situation is two parents there, but children just have a tendency to do better, man, when they live with just their father. All right? When they live with just their father, they have a tendency to do better. I mean, you can't beat the numbers. Now, I know people will say, that's the white man's data. It may be, but it's the only data we got as it stands right now. It's the only data we got. So I don't know what to tell you. Those are the stats. That's what it is. We may not like it, but We have to see it for what it is. Yeah, right. Brother Anthony, they really count on those engagements as if they matter. Yeah, I've heard them say that. In the course of my life, me being an old Negro, I've heard them say that. I've heard, oh, I've been engaged like 3 times. Like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? You've been engaged 3 times. That, you almost got married. I mean, I think marriage is like pregnancy, ain't it? You can't be half pregnant, can you? Or almost pregnant. You either you either pregnant or you're not. Oh, I'm only half pregnant. I'm almost pregnant. I'm 35% pregnant. No, you're either pregnant or you're not. Say what the hell. But let me General's still with us. Why do you think General, why do you think these younger guys have this well, I think it's a two-way street. I know some younger guys have some degree of animus to older guys, and likewise, the older guys have a little bit of animus towards the younger guys too. What do you think that is, man? Why is there such a disconnect there? The General still there?
Yeah,
Seem
X,
like
I'm still
drop.
here. Give me a
Oh,
second.
okay. Yeah, brother Anthony, just reading off the stats that's in front of me, man. I know it's the white man's data, but it's all the data I got in front of me right now, man. You bring me some
Well,
black folks data, I'll read that. Go ahead, General.
well, I'll tell you, it's my opinion, because it's the lack of responsibility, wanting to own and accept responsibility. So what happens is they blame us, and we've heard this before in this very space, right? Well, the last generation, they didn't leave nothing, they didn't hand nothing down to us. It's to blame everybody else. You know
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
that's a staple of this generation. It's everybody else's fault but their own. You didn't go out here and do what you're supposed to do in school, so I got to blame grandpa, grandma, daddy for not being there, which may be the case, but I don't think it's the overwhelming case, right? So there are various things that there are various reasons as to why people don't accept responsibility for their own actions. One is like we mentioned
hmm,
earlier, not being taught to take responsibility. Two, it's the lack of understanding how to process. So I
mm,
think that that's what it is. That's what's caused the divide. You remember when we were younger men, and an older guy in the neighborhood could say something, advice wise. You may not have wanted to hear it, but at least you had the respect to listen.
yep,
Oh man, that's Mr. Johnson. He old man. He just talking shit. Nobody want to hear that shit. We ain't got time. But you wouldn't say that. You wouldn't.
yeah,
You had a rapport because we were taught to respect your elders and all that good stuff. And if you look back at it, it was probably some old cat in the neighborhood that gave you some advice outside of your parents, and you said, I should have listened to Mr. Johnson or Mr. Jake or whoever it was, because he probably knew what he was talking about. Time and wisdom is something you can't replace. Time,
true.
wisdom, and knowledge. If you haven't been through anything, and there's nothing new under the sun, so what happens is it repeats itself. That's why we have history. What does history do?
Hmm.
History repeats itself. So yeah, you might not think it's going to happen. You might not believe it's going to happen because of the way the world is going. But trust me, I've been around long enough to see some of the same shit that, you know, older people in the neighborhood, my parents told me, mom, dad, uncles, aunties, cousins, whoever. I've been around long enough to see it come back to pass. It's just like fashion. It's like music.
Yep,
Everything comes back around.
yep.
So it's, it's,
That's
it's the lack of the willingness to have basic general respect, number one. Number two is the know-it-all mentality.
Yep.
Oh, just because it happened to you doesn't mean it's gonna happen to me. It's that attitude. That's where the old
Yep.
nigga comes in at. And then if you could talk to some of these guys 10 years from now, they'll have a different understanding, a different impression, because they will have went through some stuff. They will have experienced some things. You
Yep.
see, if I listen to, remember this old cat, um, when I first came in the military, and I was talking about getting out, getting out. He said, "For what, son?" He said, "What you gonna get out for? You're young, you're healthy, you got your whole career ahead of you. Why get out of the army?" I didn't want to hear it. I got out, had a 5-year break that put me 5 years behind of where I should have been, behind my peers, because here I am again. I'm right back. I've learned two things in my life: never say what you won't do, never say never. And those are not absolutes, because there are some things that I, under no circumstances, will ever do, right? However, never say never, and never say that it won't happen to me.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what it is. It's the age gap, the barrier gap. It's the I know it all mentality, and it's not gonna happen to me. That's you old niggas. Y'all didn't pass nothing down. Y'all failed us. It's that talk. And if you look at the ones who have that talk, that are using those excuses, if you look at them, you will see that some of them are in very strange positions. You'll never know it personally in life, because you'll never see it.
Yep.
But if you could see it in real time, you'd understand why. And this is that knowledge that I talk about, because we did it when we were coming up to X. Think about how many times you were in the community and some older cat, as I said a moment ago, was saying, "Hey, come here, boy. Now you know better than that. You ought not to do that. You should do this. You should go that way. You know, don't go over there." But you ain't paying no mind because you didn't want to hear it. You knew everything.
Hmm.
And as you got older and you look back at it, you said, "Wow, he was right." And that's what happens.
Yep.
And that's
But
basically what it is.
I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna close out because I actually got a debate in about 10 minutes. Well, a
Okay.
challenge in 10 minutes. I'm gonna say this, man. Not for nothing to all you young folks out there. I'm gonna tell you like this, and you may not want to hear this, but one day your black ass will be our age. All you got to do is live to see it. I know it don't feel like it, and it don't seem like it, but if you live to see it, one day you gonna look up. Your ass gonna be 40, your ass gonna be 50, your ass gonna be 60. It's going to happen. The only thing that's gonna stop it from happening is death. Let me
That's
say that
facts.
again. The only thing that's gonna stop you from getting old is death.
Hey, X,
So
thanks for
keep that
having
in
me.
mind.
Hey, X,
Absolutely,
shout out,
General.
brother. Thanks for
Absolutely.
having me. I'll continue to listen and support, man. Hopefully, we'll get a
Absolutely,
chance to
brother.
do it again.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
All right, out
Absolutely.
here.
I appreciate it, man. Peace. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead, man, and we're gonna take about 10 minutes because I need to go on out on the deck and puff on a cigar before we come back. But yeah, we about to throw down because the hood conservative is going to be here. And we're gonna do a little late night challenge. And the Brotherhood Service said he's taking on everybody, all comers, all opponents, all foes who wish to challenge him. He's taking them all on. So get ready. We about to throw down. But first, before we get out of here, I want to thank everybody, man, for hanging out tonight, man, for this pre-show to the Hood Service Challenge doubleheader. I appreciate the general for coming through tonight. I don't know what the hell happened to everybody else because I invited like 3 other people besides the general. He the only one that showed up. I know Brother Taylor was still working, so he wasn't able to come. I don't know what the hell happened to everybody else, but it's all right. The message is this, man. And I'll say this before I get the hell out of here. Being an old nigga ain't that bad. All right. Being an old nigga ain't that bad. Trust me. There's a lot of privilege and power and enjoyment. And when you're the old Negro in your family, man, you look around, man, there's a lot of people that love you, man. And I think that's what's most important. And I'm not just talking about your wife, I'm talking about, your children, your grandbabies, some of those babies who, papas ain't around, who, they're because even some of my wife's people, man, some of them women, they ain't got no husbands and shit, and a lot of their kids, look up to you. You're somewhat of a father of the tribe. They look up to you when you're the old Negro. So, I mean, I won't be shamed. I mean, you can call me old Negro all you want, because, see, y'all forget, I have sons in their 30s. Old man has been my nickname for like a good 15 years. Yeah, old man has been like my nickname. I mean, when they call me, it's not like, hey, dad, or hey, old man, what's going on? That's been my nickname for like 15 years. So calling me an old Negro, shit, that's a term of endearment, you Negroes. But anyway, I appreciate everybody for coming out. Check back here with us, man, about 5-10 minutes. I see all y'all in the chat room. You better bring your asses back here, because you know what I'll do if you don't. You know what I'll do, right? Right. So, with that, I will leave you good folks with 3 words, like I always do. And see your black asses in 10 minutes, too. Peace, folks. This is X with another.
The darkness continues.
Open your mind.
Dark exodus. The protest. Dark exodus.
Open your mind.
You know.
exodus, dark exodus, dark exodus. You understand? Yeah, X.
You know.
You understand? Open your mind. Dark X. Yeah, X.
You know.
You understand? Yeah, X. Open your mind. Dark exodus. Dark exodus. Dark exodus. Dark exodus.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your mind. 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 O
your mind.